I am live. Kownacki versus Arreola, the post fight, man. Such a fun night of boxing. It's such a fun night of boxing, man. And this once again proves when boxing puts together good matchups, you just get fun nights like this, man. And I was Thursday night when I came on here, I said to put a little money down on Arreola because of the odds. He was plus, I got him at plus 1111. I put 20 bucks on him at plus 1111, hoping to cash out on over 200. And I told everybody to also, if you wanted to put a little money down on Pascal at those odds. I think the odds were plus 1,000 or whatnot. I listened to my own advice on Arreola. I didn't on Pascal. I didn't pull the trigger on Pascal, and I messed up by doing that because Pascal ended up being the one to pull off the upset. A surprising upset for Pascal and an odd one. We'll get to that in a minute, but first I want to talk about Kownacki versus Arreola because what a fun fight. And let's talk about what I expected for this. I expected a fun fight. I didn't expect a 12-round fight. I said that I thought that Kownacki would wear Arreola down as the fight went on, and he would eventually stop Arreola in a fun fight. I didn't think that Arreola would be able to throw over 1,100 punches. I mean, just think about that. A heavyweight throwing almost 100 punches per round. A 38-year-old heavyweight who has been known to be a little undisciplined, not a little, a lot undisciplined throughout his career, a roller coaster. He'll come in and shape one fight, not so much in the other fight. So for him at 38 years old to come in and be able to throw almost 100 punches around at heavyweight against a guy like Kownacki and be able to take his punishment coming back because Kownacki threw over 1,000 punches as well, is just phenomenal. To me, Kownacki's Kownacki. He's got a bright future, but Arreola was the story of the night, in my opinion. Just to be able to do that at 38, to come in disciplined for his last fight of his career, you could tell he just left it all out there. Broke his left hand in the 5th round, so was going to have a little more trouble setting up that right hand. And he was able to land that overhand right at will tonight. Kownacki just was not able to block that punch. Arreola was able to throw that overhand right. But Kownacki's Kownacki, man. He did a hell of a job in this fight. Fought at a nice pace. And, has some deficiencies. Has a ceiling here. Is he a huge puncher? No. But he's a fun fighter. He's a fun fighter to watch. He's obviously got a nice fan base in New York. You saw the Polish fans came out for him. But to me, Arreola was the story of the night. I just cannot believe he was able to keep that pace for 12 rounds. How are you able to keep that pace for 12 rounds at 38? And when I saw him at the weigh-in yesterday, that's when I really wanted to throw the money in on him because I just saw a guy the punishment both guys took was unbelievable. Yeah, especially when a guy has a broken left hand. So he's dealing with that punishment as well. He's able to throw. He once that hand started to numb around the 7th or 8th round, he started to throw it again. I don't know how he was throwing left hands to the body, but he was throwing left hooks to the body of Kownacki, and just was able to do some good work in there. And when I saw him at the weigh-in, I was like, yeah, he looks in shape. This looked like the best in shape Arreola, the most disciplined Arreola. And I wish he would have got with Goosen earlier in his career. Because they work, you can tell they just work good together in the corner. They work really well together in the corner. And Arreola just brought it tonight, man. I was just blown away. I was not expecting this fight to go 12. I was not expecting it. Yeah, I told people to throw some money down on Arreola, but I expected Kownacki because of the odds, but I expected Kownacki to stop Arreola halfway through this fight. And even when I'm watching this in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd round, if I would have been on live during the fight, as I'm watching it, I'm expecting Arreola to wear down round by round, and I'm expecting him to have a little more trouble setting up that right hand and being in position to land that right hand as the fight goes on. I'm expecting as each round goes by, the percentage of him being able to land that right hand to go down as each round goes by because the legs are the first to leave, right? So at 38 years old, you're not supposed to have those legs anymore. And it made it a little easier for him that Kownacki's a nice matchup for him in that he comes forward. He's going to be there to hit as he comes in. And as Kownacki's trainer said in between some rounds, is that Kownacki was abandoning the jab, which was working well for him in the first 3 rounds. And he completely abandoned it. Got to it every once in a while, but abandoned that jab. When he was throwing those shots straight down the middle, he was giving Arreola hiccups. And it was tougher for Arreola to walk in and walk him down, and Arreola would just back up when that was happening. But Kownacki, maybe it was he didn't think he would be able to do that for 12 rounds and keep up that pace and keep up the jab. I don't know, but he abandoned that double jab that was working for him and keeping Arreola off of him. And in doing that, Arreola was able to walk in and fight in a phone booth and take some breaks as well. Because the first 3 or 4 rounds, I felt confident still that Kownacki was going to stop him if Arreola didn't land a big punch, because Kownacki was coming forward, had Arreola fighting off of his back foot. All of Arreola's shots early in the fight were coming off of his back foot, off of the ropes. Then all of a sudden, Arreola did not slow down. And Arreola hurt his hand in the 5th round and still didn't slow down. Was still fighting at a comfortable pace throughout the fight. You saw every once in a while he'd back up and take that deep breath, shake off that left hand, but then he'd go right back. And it was almost like him saying, okay, this is my last hurrah. I'm going to leave it all out there. It's my last night in the boxing ring. I'm sort of just going to enjoy this and just leave it all out there. And you saw it after the 10th round when the doctor's trying to look in his eyes. He's shaking him off like, no, man, I'm good. I'm good. And he just left it all out there, man. You could tell he was hurting with that left hand. And I just had so much respect for Arreola watching this fight. So much respect for him. And if you could put an exclamation point on your career with a loss, if ever that were the case, this is it, man. Arreola put an exclamation point on his career with a great performance for him against a young, up-and-coming guy in his prime, in Kownacki, in his hometown, coming into his own. And Arreola was the gatekeeper tonight. He's what a gatekeeper should be. You got to come through me. I'm going to leave it all out on the line. I'm trying to land a big punch. I'm trying to revitalize my career. If I lose, I'm done. That's a gatekeeper, man. And Arreola was that wall tonight that Kownacki had to go through. And it was a tough wall to go through, man. Kownacki, he had to earn it tonight. I felt like I didn't score the fight because if you would have watched the show Thursday night, I didn't expect it to go 12. I just did not expect this fight to go to 12. I felt like whoever's going to win this fight is going to win it by knockout. Did not expect this fight to go 12. I didn't think the judges were needed in this fight, but they were. And so I didn't score the fight, but it felt like 118, 110 was a little wide for whatever that's worth. I mean, Kownacki won the fight, but it felt to me like 118, 110 those two scorecards were wide. Because I felt like Arreola definitely won the last 2 rounds, I felt. I felt like he won those last 2 rounds clearly. And you had to have at least given him 1 or 2 earlier in the fight, I would think. So it felt like, even not scoring the fight, that it was a Kownacki fight clearly. But 118, 110 also felt wide. So it felt like it was somewhere in between that. But Arreola got the respect that he deserved tonight. Kownacki showed that he can get through a tough gatekeeper. But the questions will arise for Kownacki. Where is his ceiling? Does he belong in a conversation with those top 5 heavyweights? The top 5 heavyweights would be Fury, Wilder, Ruiz, Joshua, and Ortiz. Those would be the top 5. Some people would still put Dylan White in there. With the controversy surrounding, I'm not going to speak on Dylan White yet. Adam, good, determined fighter, nothing spectacular. Yeah, I mean, the spectacular things about Kownacki would be that he's a fun fighter to watch in the heavyweight division. This division continues to heat up. He's another name to put in that top 10 of exciting heavyweights, because there are exciting heavyweights that are emerging in that division in the top 10, and he's one of them. So exciting. He has that built-in fan base in New York. So he's fun. He's a fun story. However, those questions will arise of, okay, how high is his ceiling if he's going to take this much punishment? He's shown that he had a chin tonight because Arreola can still punch, man. And you saw with the overhand rights, Arreola can punch. So he showed that he has a chin, but it's different being punched by bigger guys, taller guys like a Wilder. Okay, Ruiz can punch. Joshua can punch. So when you put him in there against bigger heavyweights who can punch, where is his ceiling? Can he hang with those guys? Or you could also say, will his activity give those guys issues? But I see his activity against those guys could possibly be a detriment as well, because if he's throwing that many punches, he's open for counters against good, skilled fighters at the top of the division who can punch. So there are question marks as far as Kownacki and how far he can go in his career, whether he'll be in the top five. But to me, an exciting heavyweight with a built-in fan base, there are a lot of matchups for that guy to keep him busy before he's fighting top five heavyweights in order to get him nice paydays in the meantime. And even if he were to step up against those top five guys and lose, he would still be able to fight interesting guys in the meantime. And I don't think that fan base would leave him. I mean, case in point, Arreola. Arreola had some tough losses against top competition. Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko, Tudor Deverne, to Wilder, but he still had that fan base out west, and he would still be able to be in fun fights in the meantime. So I just thought that Kownacki and Arreola, let's just speak on the fight. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about the future because there is no future for Arreola. He basically said he's retiring after the fight. So fun career for him. I loved watching the guy fight. And as far as Kownacki, we'll speak in the future about where he's going in the near future. But I just want to speak on the fight because I love seeing fights like this, especially in the heavyweight division, to see two guys throw this, the volume of punches they threw. It broke a record in the CompuBox era. I just can't get over the fact that Arreola almost threw 100 punches per round on average and was able to hear the scorecards after 12 rounds. I mean, how you're able to keep that pace at 38, being known as an undisciplined fighter from fight to fight in your career, and to be able to pull that off at 38, man, props to him. Props to him, and props to Kownacki for being able to get through a tough gatekeeper who's able to throw that volume of punches. And also, he's a big puncher. That's the thing. It's not like you're fighting a light puncher who throws 100 punches per round in the fight. You're fighting a guy who's throwing bombs in between volume punches and landing hellacious overhand right. So that speaks on Kownacki's chin going forward. The guy has a hell of a chin, and he's a guy who can throw volume punches. So we learned that we knew that about him going forward, but from the past, but he's a volume puncher as well. Just a fun fight. Just a fun fight that we learned a lot on, and surprised me in that it went 12. Very surprising that this fight went 12. I did not expect that. Did not expect that. Was expecting this fight to be done by 7th or 8th round at the latest. So the fact that these guys were able to do that, amazing. But let's speak on, real quick, Pascal's bizarre upset win against Marcus Browne. Now, on Thursday night, if you heard this show, you saw that I expected Marcus Browne to win this fight going away on the scorecards. However, I said the one question mark, the one thing that we don't know about Marcus Browne yet is the chin. We know the guy is a slick, clever southpaw. Nice jab. He looks the part. Uses his reach well. But what happens when a guy gets within that reach, lands a big shot on him? That's the question. And I did not expect this question to be answered this soon. I didn't expect Pascal to get to his chin. Although I said, and I'm mad at myself, man. I'm beating myself up. I put 20 down on Arreola at plus 111.11, and I didn't put 20 down on Pascal, even though I advised people to. I didn't pull the trigger on Pascal. at plus, I think it was plus 1056. And I would have won over $200 on a $20 bet on Pascal. Mad at myself for not doing that. But I did not expect Pascal to land those shots, set up those shots on Browne, and put Browne on Queer Street like that, man. Because he had the knockdown at, what was that, the fourth round? He had the first knockdown, and I was surprised that Marcus Browne got up from that because that was a hellacious shot that Marcus Browne did not react well to. Did not react well to. And shocked by the upset, Jonathan Starton says, yeah, surprising upset. And Amatosa stopped Stevens in another upset in the third round. And by the way, let's just get on that real quick before I get further into Pascal Browne. That was the first fight of the night, if you saw it. Curtis Stevens, his chin, man, he's done. He's done. He's got the Amir Khan chin now. He's taken a lot of punishment in his career. And I think this, if you're in his corner, if you're on his team, you got to take a hard look at this and say, look, this guy just cannot take punches anymore. He cannot take punches. And although Amatosa caught him with some big shots, yeah, but it seemed like every single shot that landed on him, even a jab. There was a jab in the second or third round that he did not react well to. Actually, it was the third round before he was stopped. He Curtis Stevens almost, it was his last hurrah. He caught Amatoso on the ropes, threw like 10 or 15 unanswered punches, was going for the knockout. And Amatoso got out of that and then threw a jab, and Curtis Stevens just did not react well to it. I think what was it, 3 or 4 knockdowns in that fight before he was stopped. And it was sad to watch because this is a guy who's taken a lot of punishment in his career. You saw the Triple G fight, for example, and he's been in there with punches, and you can tell just at this point in his career, Curtis Stevens just does not have the chin anymore, man. He's not there anymore. Every single punch he was caught with in this fight hurt him. Every single one. I mean, he just reacted not well to any of them. So if I'm in his corner, if I'm his manager, if I'm his trainer, anybody, if I'm one of his handlers, I'm sitting him down tomorrow morning and just saying, look, man, there's got to be something else you got to do because this isn't it anymore, man. This isn't it for you anymore. You're going to take too much punishment. Yeah, you can beat some C-level guys throughout your career, but yeah, I mean, Curtis Stevens is a fun fighter to watch. You say he's one of your favorites, Boxing Dialogue, and he's a fun fighter to watch, man. And he's got a lot of heart. Got a lot of heart. He's been in there with guys, man, and he's taken punishment, though. The Triple G fight and some of the other fights he's been in, he's taken punishment. And you can just see it now. It's paying dividends later in his career in a bad way, in that even with the Amatoso catching him with not even flush shots, he caught him with that he just did not react well to. And it was sad to watch. It really was sad to watch. And I hope they sit him down. I hope he retires because I just don't want to see. I hate seeing guys later on in their career. You see it with Zab Judah now. They don't react well to punches. The reflexes aren't what they used to be. And I don't want to see him 5-10 years down the line. And look, I'm not a guy to tell, I don't want to tell guys what to do with their career. But you see them 5-10 years down the line after they retire and they're punch drunk. And it's sad to watch. It's sad to watch because these guys could do other things with their life after boxing if they have their faculties with them. So, yeah, I hope it's the end of his career. I hope it is. And I don't mean that in a bad way, man. I just hope that they take care of him, especially seeing what we saw, what was that, 2 weekends ago with us losing 2 fighters. So you hope that doesn't happen. And, you limit that risk by telling guys like Curtis Stevens, sitting him down, people who care about him, no, man, it's done. It's done. You gotta sit it out now, man. You probably have a family. You probably have kids. Live to see your kids grow up, man. Live to see your kids grow up. There are other things you can do with your life. Even if you think that boxing is all you have, no, man. No, you're going to see it different 2 or 3 years down the line. All right, there's other things you could do with your life to make money if you haven't saved up your money. Just get out with your brain. Get out with all your faculties and live to see your kids grow old. That's the way I see it with Curtis Stevens. That would be my pitch to him tomorrow. And I hope they do that. But back to Pascal versus Browne. It was sort of an odd ending to it. And that was a really bad headbutt. And Pascal is known to give guys really bad headbutts because he throws that, we call it a 1-2-5 in the gym, that left, right headbutt. He comes forward with this, he leans in with that shot. Whether it's dirty or not, I don't know. Whether he means to do it or not, I don't know. Earlier in the fight, I don't know if you caught that. They sort of, I think it was the first round, Pascal sort of rubbed his head against Browne's face. I don't know if you caught that. So it might have been a little bit of a dirty tactic, but it worked for him. It worked for him, and it happens in boxing. And when you have southpaw versus conventional, it happens even more. And that was a nasty headbutt. You saw it open up right away, and you knew it was bad how they were dealing with it. And he didn't even wait for the scorecard to be read. So it was a bad cut, really bad cut. I'm sure that was a lot of stitches that it took to close that thing up. So good stoppage there. I wanted to see this fight continue to go on because I thought Thursday night, and I said it Thursday night, that I thought that Pascal was going to stink this fight out. I thought it was going to be an ugly fight, but it wasn't. It was a fun fight while it lasted. And Pascal pulled it off with selling out with those big shots. I didn't think he was going to sell out like that, man. He sold out with some big shots, kept himself wide open, and it paid off for him because he caught him with that big right hand in the fourth. I think that was the right hand in the fourth round. It was, and changed the complexion of the fight. It changed it completely. And Browne was not the same after, although he came back and had a decent fifth round, I felt, was not reacting to those punches well. And that was my big question mark coming in with the guy. Is super talented, super talented, looks the part, uses the reach well, does all that well, man. Great athletic ability, good lateral movement, good legs, nice balance. Everything's there for Marcus Browne. The question was, when he faces an elite fighter who can punch, what happens? What happens when a guy catches him with a big right hand coming in? And I didn't think that question would be answered tonight, but it was. And it wasn't good, man. It wasn't good. He didn't react well to those punches at all. Pascal pulled off the upset. I had Pascal winning by 1 point on my scorecard as well. And I thought the judges did a good job with that. I just don't like seeing fights end like that. So somewhere down the line, I'd like to see a rematch. I figured Pascal was completely shot after those calls. Yeah, I thought so too. After the Kovalev beatings, I thought he was as well. But Browne didn't really test his chin. So, but my thing was, I didn't think that Pascal would have the legs at this point to set up those big shots, right? I mean, Browne, a skilled fighter, like I said, I thought he would be able to evade those shots. I didn't think Pascal would get in range to catch him with those shots. And how he's able to have the legs to do that, I don't know. I mean, tonight was the night of the underdog. I mean, Amatoso, Pascal, and even though Arreola lost, I felt like he was the story of the night. And ending his career that way, and a valiant effort at 38 to throw 100 punches per round and fight with a broken hand after the fifth round, and really push Kownacki to the limits, even though Kownacki won wide on the scorecards. I mean, there were points in the 12th round where I thought Kownacki was a little buzzed. May not have been, because he came back pretty strong, but there were points when I thought Arreola had him a little bit in trouble, a little bit on his heels. But tonight was the night of the underdog. I think that's the takeaway. And Pascal, I was really surprised by that. I don't know what his future is at 175 because I don't think he's going to call Kovalev out for a third fight. But possibly the rematch down the line. But I think it's going to take a while. Those of us who have had cuts, it's going to take a while for Marcus Browne to heal from a cut like that, because that's a bad cut, man. Right up in there, that scar tissue is going to be ugly, and it opened up right away. That's going to be a lot of stitches. And Pascal is he's a tough fighter to face, man, because he uses that head. It gets ugly sometimes. It gets ugly with Pascal in the ring sometimes, and he used it to his advantage tonight. And props to him, man. Props to him. A shifty, clever veteran who used it to his advantage tonight and beat the young gun who's up and coming. Pascal was the gatekeeper, and he's more than a gatekeeper now because he's a champion. He's a champion now. So Pascal once again graduated from gatekeeper to champion, and Arreola was not able to graduate from gatekeeper. I put 100 on over 6.5. Good job. Good job, D Style. Because what it went, yeah, it went 8. That was a smart move. That was a smart move. And if I was gonna bet anything last night, well, I should have put 20 down on Pascal, like I advised people to do. Stupid me, stupid me, not putting down 20 on Pascal like I did on Arreola. Man, I'm beating myself up for that, beating myself up. But the other thing I would have done was Marcus Browne, and the over is what I would have thought. Was the over 6.5? I think the over was somewhere around 6.5, maybe 8.5, 6.5. You say it's 6.5, so it would have been 6.5. You would have won, and D Style won on that. I would have won on the over as well. But if Pascal was going to win this fight, it was going to be on the cards, and he did that. I lost about $20. Losing $20 isn't bad, man. I lost $20 tonight. I've lost worse. I've done worse. But yeah, I know you threw some money down on Arreola as well. It almost came through, man. It almost came through for us. Arreola, he brought it tonight, man. He brought it tonight. Bet 200, lost -20. Yeah, losing 20, not bad, man. I bet a lot of college football, so I've lost more than 20. I've lost a lot more than 20 in a night. So losing 20 in the night's a good night. But yeah, man, I'm just upset with myself for not doing 20 on Pascal, because that would have netted me over 200 on the night, and I would have ended up plus 200. But I'm just shocked, man. I'm just shocked, boxing wise, that Arreola was able to pull that off. Just a surprising night, and that's out of all the stuff that happened tonight. I think that's the most surprising thing to me, because on Thursday night, I said there's no way Arreola is going to go 12. No way. And he does it. And not only does he do it, he does it throwing 100 punches per round. He throws 100 punches per round at 38 years old, known as an undisciplined guy in his career. What a way to put an exclamation point on your career and finish off your career that way. I thought Arreola did well defensively. Not sure why the doctors kept checking on him. I thought he took some shots, man. And I saw the CompuBox, and look, we know CompuBox isn't very accurate. They said that Kownacki landed over 300 punches. I think that's close to accurate, though. Here's the thing, though. Kownacki just did not look like a big puncher to me. Wilder was saying, oh, he's got heavy hands, this and that. I think the story for Kownacki is he's not what he looks like. He's got decent hand speed. He's a volume puncher. And decent hand speed for the division. He's a volume puncher, very much a volume puncher for the division. I think what is the average for the heavyweight division? Somewhere under 40, something like that. And he over doubled that tonight per round. So I don't think he was catching Arreola with it didn't seem like, what I would agree with you on it, it didn't seem like Arreola was ever bothered by Kownacki's shots as far as being buzzed or being, bro, Wednesday is going to be lit, the new streaming service I got. Yeah, I look forward to Wednesday night, and I look forward to talking more about this and Kownacki's future, because pretty accurate on throwing punches. Yeah, maybe so. I'm not much of a fan of CompuBox, but they're more accurate. Yeah, you're right on thrown as opposed to landed. Landed is not always accurate, but I'm very interested in knowing what people think about Kownacki's ceiling, because he seems to be definitely on that second tier. I would not put him on that first tier with the other guys, Wilder, Fury, Joshua, Ruiz, even Ortiz. I would not put him on that. I think he loses to all those guys from what I saw tonight. I may be a little harsh on him in that. There were some things I was impressed with, but I just feel like if you're that special, if you're a top five guy, even Arreola coming in disciplined, coming in shape, coming in the right frame of mind, I feel like if you have a 38-year-old guy in front of you with a broken left hand, who is known to have been stopped a couple times in his career, I think you have to get him out of there if you're a special fighter, right? So I think that we have to call into question what Kownacki's ceiling is. And I look forward to hearing about that in the near future. They need to adjust the numbers. Yeah, I look forward to that. So obviously it's not, his ceiling's not as high as Vegas thought, because this was closer than Arreola being plus 11-11, right? Arreola did not look like a plus 11-11 fighter tonight. All right. Kownacki didn't look like a minus whatever they had him fighter tonight as far as Vegas odds. The same thing you would say as Marcus Browne versus Jean Pascal. Maybe Marcus Browne's ceiling is not as high as Vegas thought, right? And Vegas is very smart, obviously. They make a lot of money. They do a great job of handicapping. And so obviously we need to call into question where these guys' ceilings are. But Marcus Browne, tough way to not advance your career. You know, not only is he dealing with a loss, he's dealing with a bad cut. Couldn't even listen to the judges' scorecards because of how bad the cut was. It's going to take a while to heal. So Curtis Stevens, you got to wrap up your career, man. Got to wrap it up. I hope someone is just a younger version of Arreola. That's what I was saying earlier. I think Kownacki, a lot of ways, mirrors Arreola, right? I mean, a guy who, you know, maybe they're trying to push a little bit, but his ceiling not as high as they thought coming in. And as he moves up to that elite level, he's going to be exposed a little bit. But that being said, he has a nice built-in fan base, like Arreola has out west in LA and whatnot with the Mexican fan base. Kownacki has a nice built-in fan base in New York of those rabid Polish fans who come out in New York, they come out in Chicago, and they support their fighters. So even though he might fall short against those top five guys, the elite opposition, you're still going to be able to put him in there with the B to C level opposition, those second to third tier guys who are fun to watch, even if he's coming off of losses. And if you match him up well, he's still going to draw. And he's still going to be a fun fighter to watch, man. He's a fun fighter. A volume punching heavyweight who can take shots. There's a market for those guys, as Arreola showed, case study. And Kownacki, there's going to be a market for this guy, man. Whether you think he's an elite guy or not, there's a market for him. So I'm going to wrap it up that way. I felt like Arreola was the story of the night. Curtis Stevens needs to retire. Pascal, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where he's going to go. At 175, I'm not sure what there is for him there. I hope Marcus Browne heals up well so they can do the rematch. I think that would be interesting. I think he deserves a rematch. They gave Pascal a shot. Pascal should give him the shot. It ended prematurely, although it ended right. That was the right thing to do, obviously, to stop the fight. But I would have liked to have seen what happens as the fight goes on. Common sense tells me that Pascal probably stops him. If Browne reacted that way to those shots early in the fight, as the fight went on, I think he would have reacted worse. It didn't look like Pascal was slowing down. So I think that Pascal, if anything, it probably robbed Ruiz would wash Kownacki. Ruiz would wash Kownacki, but wouldn't that be a fun fight? Ruiz versus Kownacki would be a fun fight, man. He would. He would wash him, but that would be a fun fight. But yeah, Arreola, he's a story of the night. He's a story of the night. Great way to end his career. And thanks for the fun career, Arreola. And thanks to y'all for tuning in. I'm out. Peace. Tune in Monday night.